We're taking a shot at doing a redo for the Totems and Mentor Spirits video. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. And yeah, as I said, we are going to be doing a redo of the Totems and Mentor Spirits video for 5th Edition Shadowrun. Because, well, I'm not sure how it slipped by me. Of course, it happens from time to time, but my cards and information weren't displaying properly in the video, and I feel compelled to correct that. And that now seems like the perfect opportunity to do so. But before we get into exactly what we are going to be covering today, if you're new here to the channel, then go on down there to hit that subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or, if you've already listed yourself on such a legendary roster of fine people, chummer, then go on down there to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. But now, let's talk about Totems and Mentor Spirits. So, to begin with, Totems and Mentor Spirits are different kinds of entities that Hermetic mages, shamans, and adepts can follow as a means of understanding and further developing and enhancing their magical powers. Following these spirits will definitely have an influence on the mind and behavior of these various practitioners, though what exactly that effect is just will depend on each individual spirit. And also not only each individual spirit, but the particular kind of individual spirit that's summoned up. You may have a crow or a fox spirit, but depending on the culture that you are drawing from, that knowledge, that viewpoint, that inspiration, that particular spirit may vary somewhat in its behavior. Now, when you select a particular totem or spirit to follow as a mentor, this will confer a boon to the mana user and a bane as well. So there's a benefit and a drawback to making this kind of a selection. Just as an example, if you were to go with the bear totem, the bear is a protector spirit, bringing strength and healing in defense of others. Now, whoever selects this, you gain +2 dice for tests to resist damage, not including anything like drain. Magicians and Shamans who select this gain +2 dice for health spells, preparations, and health spell rituals. Adepts will get 1 free level of rapid healing. Now, the disadvantage that you take with this is that you have to make a simple charisma willpower test anytime that you or someone under your care is injured. Failure will mean going berserk for 3 turns -1 per hit. And someone had pointed out before that I was a bit inaccurate in my musings and assessments on this. Going berserk is you attack the offender without regard to your own defense or safety. Now, depending on how things play out, depending on what your particular build is, you may be better off than some others would be with this disadvantage. For example, a physical adept who's really good at brawling is designed and built for getting into melee. You're going to be fine. A mage is going to have some serious problems if they don't really have any physical combat abilities. So that's what I had meant and intended last time around, is if you are built for melee and physical combat, you're going to be better off than other kinds of characters will be. Also, it had been pointed out that I keep talking about magicians and shamans as if they're different. Functionally, they're not. Just the traditions mean that they rely on different stats, somewhat different stats when they're doing their spell casting, but it still feels like they should be sort of distinct from one another, or at least that's what's fixated in my head. But before I go on too much and go trailing down to other rabbit holes, we have another example here for you. And the next mentor spirit available is Dragon Slayer. This is the most heroic and fun-loving of spirits, who loves a good party much more than they love a good fight. Now, anyone who picks this up will gain +2 dice for 1 social skill of their choice. Magicians and Shamans will gain +2 dice for combat spells, preparations, and combat rituals. Adepts will gain 1 free level of enhanced accuracy to a skill and 1 free level of danger sense, but the disadvantage that you take with this is if you break a promise, whether by choice or by accident, you take a -1 dice pool modifier to all actions until you make good on that promise. So this is definitely a disadvantage that, depending on how closely your DM runs these kinds of things, how closely the game master does all of this and keeps track of everything, this can be inconsistently applied, or loosely applied or broadly applied, depending on how things get interpreted and what exactly is constituted as a promise. So this is definitely one where you definitely get some good boons, some good benefits from selecting it, but you could also kind of get away with some things depending on how loosely this gets played. But that said, it's definitely a significant penalty. -1 dice, maybe not later on too much, but later on as you develop and your skills really begin to climb and you have a significant die pool to roll. But earlier on, early to mid levels, -1 on top of any other penalties you may be hit with that can end up adding in significantly, and this is to everything you do. And these are just 2 examples of different kinds of totems and mentor spirits that you can take on. Really, there's such a broad range, and also this doesn't even begin to touch on what can be homebrewed in. And you are certainly encouraged to homebrew more totems and mentor spirits to be available to different players, the NPCs and the like. So definitely it's something to take advantage of and can really help to make your different mages and adepts feel that much more distinct from one another. Give them more personality, because the way that these are just mechanical presentations, but the fact that the bear is a protector spirit, and this is something that is influenced and put upon the followers that select them, they begin to take on that more of a protection-oriented mindset in their capabilities. They're much more defense-oriented. Defense in that they want to be defensive and protective of those that they consider under their care. So they might take on more motherly or fatherly, brotherly. They become the party dad, the party mom, taking care of everyone. Just maybe even when on the downtime, they're the ones that go out of their way to brew up some pots of soy calf. Or if you've taken the Dragon Slayer as your totem, then you're the one that orders that first round of beers when you're at the pub, at the bar, wherever it is you might be relaxing, and you're getting things started. You're really kicking off these events, these celebrations, especially if you're coming off of a good run. Hell, even if you're coming off of a bad run and one of your teammates bit the bullet, the mage finally got geeked, well, then you're the first one ordering rounds for everybody to raise one up in honor of your fallen comrade. I mean, hell, by working with them, you have in some ways made a promise to honor and celebrate them. Whether or not you like them, that might be another story, but gotta keep those promises, man. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Hopefully, I'm paying more attention with my video editing, have these information cards displaying properly for you, and let me know your thoughts down below about how well I've covered this. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? Is there anything that you might insert? What are your favorite totems or mentor spirits that you like to take on when you're playing Shadowrun? Go on down to the comments below and we'll engage in discussion. And if you haven't done so already, then go on down to hit that subscribe button and become a regular member here at the Gamers Den. But with all that said, I've been your host, Jordan, your master of lore and storyteller extraordinaire. Thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.